Hello all and welcome to another Last Epoch build. My name is Bobo and today I have a melee build, a melee Necromancer build for you guys. But before we get into the build, as always, I would like to thank everyone who likes, comment and subscribes. You guys are awesome. This build we have a lot of minions going up in their faces and punching them. Um, this is more of like a challenge build to have everything in melee. Um, it would be probably simpler to have some ranged mixed up with the melee, but I took this as a challenge on myself. I leveled this character from level 1 and I tried to keep it in melee as much as I could. So yeah, now we have this Necromancer, can just basically run up. The good thing about the melee is when they see a minion, a monster, they will like run up to it and attack it instead of just having to stop and shoot. So if we keep moving here, they'll keep attacking anything that comes up in their face. We have the Wraiths here, the melee Wraiths. I was surprised to see how much damage they actually deal. They deal a lot of damage, and it's a good build. You need you just have them all bunching up on the enemies. But if I were to make a build to actually keep leveling, I would splice in some range. Maybe leave the skeletons range and leave the Wraiths as melee. But as for a challenge build, it's not bad. Our job as the Necromancer is just to run around and not let anything touch us and wait for the minions to do all the work. We give them the Dread Shades. The Dread Shade is... I took the point so it doesn't kill them anymore, but I can only have one, but that's fine because usually they're all bunched up on one enemy, like on the boss or something. And that's the build, let's get into it. For this build we're running Summon Skeleton Mages, Summon Bone Golem, Summon Wraith, and Threadshade. For the skeletons, sorry, we went for 5 points in Sweeping Strike, so we have more damage and more melee area of effect. I took all the skeletons, so I went 1 point in Grave Walker, 1 point in Marrow Walkers, and 1 point in Hollow Walkers. Took 5 points in a Holy Rage for attack speed and movement speed. Took 1 point in Shambling Steel, so we removed all the archers. And yeah, 3 points for some health. I took 1 point for some leech, and that's about it. This is the build for the skeletons. So a lot of skeletons, damage and leech. For the mages, we basically went into Death Knights. We gave them the melee fire damage, which is base damage. Always go for the base damage. Health leech, health, and then we took the crit multiplier, and one more mage. Golem, standard Golem. I usually always go for the Spectral Golem. He's our tank. He has a lot of dodge, he fears enemies, and he taunts. So he's basically the tank. This is the build we went for. So armor, movement speed, and taunt. The Dreadshade, the melee Dreadshade, we got all the good notes. We have the base damage, we have the leech, we have the crit, more crit, crit leeched, and multiplier. This 3 here is really good. And then we took 1 point for some movement speed, but mainly for travel we went 2 more rates, so we have 8 in total. And the last point we gave them health decay minus 13%, so they die a little bit slower. They won't really be dying as long as they're in combat because of all the leech they're gonna get from damage and from the passives. But the last point, I just put it here. We can place it basically wherever you want if you want to give them more movement speed or anything else. Finally, the Dreadshade. I took Lone Watcher on the Dreadshade. This will make the Dreadshade not kill our enemies, not kill our minions anymore. It won't be eating them, but they will take more damage, but that's fine. We have like a million minions. It's really hard for them to target that one minion. Just don't put it on your Golem. Um, the reason I took one, the reason I took this is so they don't burn the minions, and since they're all in melee, there will be your punch up anyway. It should be hitting all, if not all, most of your minions. We gave it more area, we gave it more attack speed, we gave it more area and more damage, and we made it affect ourselves as well. So we're getting hit by the Dreadshade. We gave it base necrotic damage, we gave it some mana efficiency, and we gave it armor per vitality. So if we have a little bit of vitality, this will give us a little bit of armor back. It used to be overpowered, used to be with intellect. I don't. They changed it to vitality, and yeah. Okay, passives. We went 20 points in Acolyte, 8 points for the intellect, 7 points for the vitality, and 5 points for the attack speed. Again, you can change this around and make it 7 points intellect, 8 points vitality, but you only want 20 points in the Acolyte. Necromancer, we want 25 points in the first half, and the rest in the second half. So the first half we went for attack speed and damage. I took 1 point travel in health regen, 7 points for health, and 1 point for the extra skeleton. We took 1 point in Vanguard. This is enough to have 3 Vanguards all the time, because the Dreadshades will keep, not the Dreadshades, the summon rate will keep dying, so it will summon the Vanguards eventually. 3 points traveling Care's Blood, and 4 points for the armor shred. For the second half, we went 3 points in Tyrant, 1 point for the extra skeleton, 1 point for the extra skeleton, 10 points in Moonlight Pyre for the 10 and 10 base damage. This is really good. Attack speed, crit, and life leached as health on crit to keep the minions alive. 10 points in Heresy, 10 intellect, minion crit chance, it's really good. 3 points for some resistances, this is more of a travel, and we took 1 point for the maximum skeleton mages. And then 10 points in minion crit. This helps a lot with damage. You can not take this point and go down here instead for some vitality and increased health per minion. We have a bunch of minions, so it's gonna give us a lot of increased health, but you use 3 more points, so it's 6 points to get to your skeleton mage rather than 3. It takes 3 more, so you decide which path you want to take. And in case you're leveling more, you can remove these 3 and just go 6 points down here. Anyway, let's see some boss fights.
Take no pleasure in this. Your death shall be quick. You fool.